If you make decisions based on feelings, 9 out of 10 decisions are going to be the wrong decision. That if you really want to make good decisions, that all decisions and all thoughts start with feelings, but then you need to move them over to logic. I followed my talent and my skill set, and that's where I think that passion is feelings, logic is talent and skill set. I think that I could have a whole lot more money in the bank if I just focused on doing the things that made me money. But I don't. I want to help people. I value the relationship and the connectivity, so I spend a lot of time talking to people and doing things that don't make me money. It's just relational. It's over connectivity. And we are back. I am your host, Jasan Julius, the host of the Julius Files, and today we have got a water cooler talk. I'm going to jump right into it because I've been in business 18 years, and when I was outside exercising, I started thinking about putting together a podcast of realizations, lessons I've learned, and things that I know to be true. I know that you have people that are like, they know their truth. You can have my truth and your truth and the truth, and we'll just call that perspective. Everybody can have their own truth, but I do know that when I look out there in the world of other successful entrepreneurs, pointedly, I know where I am in my entrepreneurial journey, and I consume content of other entrepreneurs, and there are some things that, yes, I've got perspective on, but there is just flat out, this is the truth, whether we are talking about the world of entrepreneurship or just principles of success in life. But I want to get, from my perspective, because most of what I do is perspective. I can only tell you what I've gone through and things that I've realized and how I've applied them, how I have applied them, or how they are applicable to my life. The first one, and I've seen other people talk about it, is motivation. And I have to laugh about this because I see too many people that they seek motivation from outside sources. And just plainly, there's nothing wrong with that. In your personal life, sometimes motivation can just be going and seeking counseling and for your own personal journey of happiness. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, I'm just a big believer that if you have to seek outside motivation, you shouldn't be in entrepreneurship. There's too many people that know how to dig down deep and find that internal motivation itself. And towards the end of this, I've got some books to recommend. What I want to get at is that motivation is a feeling, and I have long said that if you make decisions based on feelings, 9 out of 10 decisions are going to be the wrong decision. That if you really want to make good decisions, that all decisions and all thoughts start with feelings, but then you need to move them over to logic. And if feelings and logic align, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a really good decision. So if motivation is bullshit when it comes to business because it's just based on a feeling, then what is logic? Logic is discipline. There have been people that have talked about it, but the point is discipline is doing what is necessary even when you're not motivated to actually do it. So in business, honestly, principles of success in life, it is the discipline of getting the necessary things done that actually lead to success. I am a bigger proponent that this is what's necessary, and sometimes you require that extra effort, and you should know yourself to dig down deep to find that motivation beyond the discipline to get that extra effort. So then we get into another one that I have feelings on. People say follow your passion. Now, I am not going to deny that I've seen many entrepreneurs, and myself included, that you get to a certain level and then you start qualifying tasks and actions that need to be done, and you only do the things that you want to do. The other things you delegate out. The point is that when I look back at my journey, when I went into entrepreneurship, I had been at Chrysler for just shy of 14 years. When I left and I went into business for myself, I didn't follow my passion. I followed my talent and my skill set, and that's where I think that passion is feelings, logic is talent and skill set. When I look back on my life, it's like I started Coffee Junkies. That's how I left Chrysler. Why did I move towards food and beverage. Well, at 14 years old, I started working at Shoney's, and then I went to Ryan's Steakhouse, and then I went to Noble Roman's, and then I went to Pizza Hut, and then I went to Outback. Before I started my job at Chrysler, I reverted back to my talent and my skill set, and then took my knowledge of what I'd gained at Chrysler over mass manufacturing and applied it to that. And I believe that through all of the struggle, where I found success was reverting back to my talent and my skill set. Was I passionate about coffee? I'm going to be honest with you. No, absolutely not. I can remember my father saying, "Oh, the only way that you can be successful like you are is that you have to have a passion for coffee." And I laughed because I didn't have a passion for coffee. If anything, I had a passion for business. I had a curiosity that here was this unsolved puzzle that I wanted to put the pieces together, that I wanted to understand it on a higher level. But the passion was not in coffee. I logically saw that Starbucks was able to sell a cup of coffee for $4. I rationally moved that towards, this is not your mom and pop cafe 25 or 50 cent cup of coffee. And if you can sell this product at $4, then it's a 16-ounce glass of liquid. You can tell, I can confidently say you can find profit in this. This is what is worth actually looking into. It didn't have anything to do with passion. Although I can say that once you achieve a certain level of success, then you can start literally directing your mind and your time towards the things that you find yourself being passionate about. But the people that have already got it made, the people that have got hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in the bank that stand up there on a stage and tell you follow your passion, it's like I don't want to say that they're full of shit, but they're not being honest with you because they're up on stage because they have accomplished a certain something, and they went and got people to buy tickets that have not accomplished or are early in their journey to come listen to them. So I just don't feel like they're being truthful with them when they stand up on that stage and say, follow your passion. Like, no, you have to have money in the bank. You have to have accomplished something. You have to have resources accumulated in order to have the latitude to follow your passion. So I think it's just a crock of shit when you're supposed to be the expert telling the novice how to get where you are, and you're not telling them the full story. Like that so few people get to follow their passion and they start with $0 and turn it into $1 million. Like, life is just not that way. And my thing is that if I'm going to take my time to put out content to actually talk about these things, like, I don't want to be the pie in the sky. I don't want to be the person that's blowing smoke up your ass. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my own time because time is more valuable than anything else. So I'm just sitting there going, no, I'm more apt to call the people out to say, you're not being helpful. The same way that I had a guy that said, oh, well, quit making it so complicated. If you just do this, this, and this, you can be successful in business. And I'm like, you're full of shit. You're not talking about the nuance. You're not talking about the grind of day in and day out and years in and years out. You're not being honest with people, and you shouldn't be putting out content that is lying to people, that is building them up to think that it's just easy, that all you got to do is just put your toe in the water and all of a sudden your bank account will have $1 million in it. Like, that shit drives me nuts. And I'm just not built that way, and I'm not going to put out that kind of content or blow smoke up people's ass that way. So then let's get into, like, my business coach. He just frames it really well. He said, I have things that I do that make me money, and I have things that I do that don't make me money. And that is my quote-unquote work-life balance. And because I am small business, like, I'm in several different industries, but the point is I am small business serving the communities that I'm involved in, and I am small business when it comes to, I have a couple B2B businesses that I do business with a lot of other small businesses. And one of the things that has literally, like, gotten under my nerves to the point that I don't want this to come off negative, but at the same time, I almost feel the need to rant about it. I will do things that make me money. I will do things that don't make me money because I am very much like my reputation, I think, is built on relationships and servant style leadership and helping people. So there are many things, like I think that I could have a whole lot more money in the bank if I just focused on doing the things that made me money. But I don't. I want to help people. I value the relationship and the connectivity. So I spend a lot of time talking to people and doing things that don't make me money. It's just relational. It's over connectivity. Too many times I come across small business owners that think that I'm supposed to bend over backwards and literally do things for them that cost me money. And that's where I draw the line. It kills me that I will get somebody that will be like, specifically, and I'm not going to name any names, Trish runs Scared Rabbit for me. It is a website building, graphic design. We handle print for our current customers, although I just don't like getting into print. We handle some social media because we handle our own social media. So when you have a customer that they need mailers sent out to their customer base, okay, that is a version of EDDM. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but the point is you're actually putting together a marketing campaign and you're sending it out to a group of people. It can be a broad group of people. It can be a group of people by demographics, or you can go actually by lists and you can target people and send out marketing material to them. That costs money. You can do all of that stuff yourself, and you can save yourself money. You can't save yourself time because it's a very arduous task, and that's the whole point. Time is money. So when we've got a small business, it's like, well, I don't want to pay for those services from you, but I want you to call this person and find out what their parameters are. I'm like, no. Now you are literally asking me to expend labor hours to go searching out information for you. So you're trying to get a task that you're not going to pay for. And that's where I draw the line, where I'm like, I am not willing to do things that literally cost me money. I will do things that don't make me money, but the point of which that I am expending time, hours, and research for an individual that has no intent of actually paying for the labor of that, that's where I actually draw the line. And I know that they talk about loss leaders, and even loss leaders are items that you don't make money on. I don't know of anybody today that is literally doing things and saying, I'm willing to lose money. Now don't get me wrong, there are programs in marketing and digital advertising where you have a very large bank of money and you're like, okay, I'm going to lose money on the upfront sale because I'm going to collect their information, and through the process of what I'm going to get on the sales of the back end, I will lose money here because I have a big enough bank account that I can weather it until I can get the list built and then sell them something on the back end that in fact makes it a profitable transaction. But that's just as tricky as setting up options on stocks. Like, you buy a stock to make money, you can hold it. When you buy an option, you're buying it for a period of time. Then you can get into butterfly spreads and it gets really complicated, where you better have a high level of expertise and you better have a very large bank account to be able to weather the swings of it. What I'm trying to get into is that I am not a proponent of doing things in small business that are actually money losing. That's where you should draw the line with people to say, like, I'm willing to do things. I'm here to do things that make me money. I will do things and take time with you that I'm not going to make any money. But the point at which you want me to do tasks because you want me to do it for you, but you don't want to pay for it, that's where you draw the line. Because I've seen a lot of people that have gotten into it where they're talking about transactional relationships, and like, when I really think about it on a deeper level, I've got a hard time, like, I think like 99.9% of all relationships are transactional. And if you were transacting with somebody and you are taking a loss, like, that's a bad relationship. I just personally wouldn't advise it, especially when so much small business is bootstrapping. So when you find another small business wanting to do business with you, but they want you to do it at a loss to you, that's just not a relationship worth building. Okay, let's talk about when it comes to coaching, there is nothing wrong with coaching because you generally are looking for coaching from somebody that is at a higher level to you because you want to get to that higher level. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is, like, they go back to leaders or readers. I'm a big proponent in that, but what I'm getting at is between being able to read books and being able to go to YouTube to gather so much information, the coaching that you should be seeking is for last mile. Like, if you are just paying for coaching because you are just trying to shortcut the process, I'm just here to tell you that, you're going to find out that there's not any shortcuts, that a lot of that coaching is going to end up costing you more, and you would be better off literally just understanding the journey of life and learning and self-development and get comfortable with seeking all of that knowledge and then go paying for coaching that is last mile, that gets you actually over the hump. And I'm saying this because what I'm seeing now is I see a lot of, it's like before the age of the internet, there was a lot of get-rich-quick schemes. And I have found that all of those get-rich-quick schemes have migrated to the internet. And while 5, 10, 15 years ago, drop shipping, e-commerce, like in its infancy, there was a lot of money to be made there. I'm here to tell you, if you get into those industries, not only is there a steep learning curve, you're going to find out the margins are so slim, you would have been better off diverting your attention to an old school business. Because I come back to myself and I'm like, I didn't get into those things initially because I'm a big dummy. At least for a lot of years, that's what I told myself. But the point is, I went into the food and beverage industry because I was like, it's real simple. People got to eat. I understood that. It was in the age of the internet, it was not fancy to get into, but I understood it. It wasn't complicated. And if done right, the margins are way higher than anything you can do on e-commerce or drop shipping. So when you see these people talking about how they've made millions and millions of dollars, ask them if they've pocketed millions and millions of dollars, because the likelihood is they've done millions and millions of dollars on a 1, 2, or 3% margin. They've done it in revenue. They're not actually pocketing that money. And now, because they're sick of dealing with all of that low margin opportunity, now they've decided to create a course and become a coach or a teacher to tell you how you can do it. And they are, again, reverting back to the actual revenue they generated. They're not talking about the margin and the bottom line of what they're actually putting in the bank. Like, I come across one guy that was a podcast, and he was talking, and he turned it basically into a webinar and told you how he actually did it, and then turned it into a coaching. And then I went into the comments to find out that what it was all about was that he wanted to charge you $35,000 so that he could show you and teach you to do what he did. But I'm sitting there going, it is a 9 out of 10 fail. And where are you going to direct your attention? Well, I get in the age of technology that if you enjoy technology and you want to put your efforts into typing it out and banging it out at a keyboard because it's something that maybe there is a passion or more, or better yet, a skill set and a talent, cool, but understand it is extremely low margin. Like, the internet wasn't created to say, hey, we can get people to buy shit at a higher margin than what they will buy it by walking into a brick and mortar store. No, that was exactly the opposite. We can offer things cheaper on the internet than you can get at buying in brick and mortar, and the cheaper it gets, the lower margin that is there. So while you can put out an effort on the internet and only produce that something once, and you can sell it many times, you still have to master ad spend. You still have to push it out there. And then you got to be looking realistically at what the actual margins are. So just understand that psychologically, they are walking you down a path and telling you a story, and they're making it look like it is yet another get-rich-quick scheme. And what it is they are offering you a educational package that they have made once, that they can sell to thousands upon thousands of people, and they know 9 out of 10 are going to fall out and do nothing with it, because they're going to realize that what they got themselves into is not get rich quick. It is that hard. And of the one that goes on to makes it, 9 out of 10 of them are not going to turn any of these massive profits, but you're going to get that 1 in 100 that is just willing to, like any other business, work 16, 18, 20 hours a day, scour the internet, and they're going to be able to do good. And that's the one example that they're actually going to show you. So I'm just sitting here saying, don't be fooled by it. Okay, so we get into, you've got success in life and you've got success in business. And I personally think that both of these are applicable. I think a success in business comes down to 3 things: consistency, culture, and caring. And I think that if you apply those to business, doing what is necessary for an extended amount of time, consistently paying attention to the culture of the team that you have, and actually caring, not faking it, because in today's day and age, they'll sniff that shit out. I think that you can be successful in about anything that you put your mind to. It's just that too many people, they're not prepared to put the time necessary into it. So when it comes to being successful in life, which again, I still think comes back to business, respect, rapport, reputation. I truly believe that if you are thinking about building respect, working on building rapport with people, and actually thinking about and caring about the reputation that you're building, you will be successful in business and life in general. Okay. Then we get to, and I know that I've alluded to this, but I just feel like it needs to be said again. It does not matter what pattern you choose. It does not matter if you beat the sun up. It does not matter if you are a night owl and you work until the early wee hours. What matters is that you develop a habit, that you develop a routine, that if you want to apply consistency into your business, you need to have a routine of consistency yourself. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to doing what is necessary, which segues into one of the last pieces that you see the experts and the pundits, and they will talk about pieces of it, but it's like, in order to succeed at doing anything, you must do it consistently. And what I'm talking about now is your health. Too many people are out there saying, well, you need to work out and you don't need to worry about cardio. You need to worry about strength training. And one, neither cardio or strength training is the answer by itself. From my perspective, that's actually the 20%. And I think that a little bit of cardio and a little bit of strength training are both necessary requirements for having a good health. It's for keeping your muscles active. It's for bone density. It's blood pressure. Like paying attention to your health, you need to have a certain amount of cardio and a certain amount of actually working out. Albeit, I do feel the need to go off on a tangent that I assume we'd see so many people talking about getting jacked. And I'm like, I'm here to tell you, getting jacked is just as stupid as getting fat. Like when you look at people that are experiencing sleep apnea is literal suffocation while you're sleeping. So if you get jacked, that's still muscle mass weighing on your esophagus and weighing on your chest, the same way fat does. So when you think about the lifetime arc, like if you build up fat, you're going to carry that into your older years. If you build up a bunch of muscle, you're going to carry that into your older years. And if you get jacked and build up too much muscle, you're going to have to maintain that in your older years. And it's still weighing on you, where I'm like, being physically fit, being healthy, it is not just about cardio. It is not just about working out and weight training. Again, I come back to my business coach. Be kind to your future self. Everything that I've stated when it comes to being successful in business and life, discipline. If you want to live a healthy life, that comes down to the decisions and the choices that you make every day. I'm not saying you can't eat that cookie. I'm saying eating 10 of those cookies 7 days a week is not a healthy choice. I mean, like, I'm in this day and age of we're becoming more conscious of our health. We are living longer. And I don't think people put, and I do want to, I'll give kudos to this generation. This younger generation seems to be a lot more health conscious in general. But the point is, like, garbage in, garbage out. You got 80% and you got 20%. The 20% is the lifting and the cardio. The 80% is just simply about what you consume. Are you eating a healthy diet or not? And at least take ownership of it. Okay. I want to wrap this podcast up, and I've got 2 books that I want to recommend to you. I think that, again, applicable to life and business, but it is more about business itself. Psychology is such a big deal when it comes to principles of success in life and business, and you need to understand the psychology of other humans and the masses, as well as understanding your own psychology. So when it comes down to understanding the psychology of other humans and of the masses of people, Robert Cialdini wrote a book called Influence, and I would advise everybody to read it because he literally breaks down the psychology of humans through different tests, through different principles. And if you're going to be in business, it does not matter whether you are directly in selling or directly in service or brick and mortar, or doing it online. You need to understand people. You need to understand what causes the click run, as he refers to, the actual buying habits of people. And his book, Influence, is just a great book. I am on my second read of it, and there is just so much information in there that at the end of the day, where I've seen a couple people say you don't need to read a lot of books. You just need to read a couple books a lot of times to understand it. I personally go both ways. I think that you should read a lot of books, and I think that you should find a couple books that are really good, that are just packed with information, and make sure that you are continually reading them to stay up on the principles. The other book that honestly has just came out here within the last couple months, but I've known Coach for a long time. I just thought that it was a really good book. It's called Flip the Switch by Michael Burt. And what the book is based on is understanding yourself internally, understanding your own motivations, what actually flips your switch. Because again, if you're going to be successful in business or life, you're going to have to employ discipline, but there are going to come times where that extra is called for over and above the discipline. And the more that you understand about yourself, the more that you're going to be able to summon or call on that internal motivation that gives you that extra when you really need it. And I mean, it was just, coaches wrote several books and I've read them all, but Flip the Switch was a really good book, and I highly recommend it for understanding understanding yourself and what motivates you. All right, I'm gonna wrap up this podcast. I do want to say that over time, I want to say that we're somewhere high 70s. We're coming up on our 80th episode, and over time, I think pieces of this are changing. I'm trying to get better, but I hope that you will definitely subscribe to the show and share the show, because I'm sitting there going, if you are picking up any nugget, then you know people in your world that need to hear some of these things. So please share the show, because I'm just trying to put good, real information out there. All right. Till next time, you guys have a good night.